Jake from State Farm. I'm not ready for the final boss and bake wars.
Oh, forget that. You've got State Farm supporting you.
Welcome everybody to the TakoYaku presented by the Slammin' Cup. How is everyone today? I hope you're feeling fine, feeling energized from watching last table. Because if you aren't energized from that, then I don't know what to tell you. You may need to go to bed and sleep. But only after watching Table 1 face off, watching Table 1 consisting of Aiyanna, Sniv, Moon, and Biddy fighting for survival. Many of these players, Sniv, Moon hovering around the 0 Uma mark, and Biddy currently deep in the danger zone. Well, near the danger zone at minus 21.1. Yes. Still has a playoffs berth. Still has a playoff berth, but that could change very quickly depending on the outcome of this match.
Thank you for opening my eyes to the idea of using the phrase playoff berth to refer to getting a spot in the playoff round of the Slammin' Cup, something which 2/3 of our players will have.
It's fine. Listen, you know, if baseball can do that, can just put give every team a wild card, then we're allowed to do this.
We're extremely allowed.
They can't stop us from doing this. You know what will stop me from talking? The start of the match.
It's going, y'all.
It's happening. Has anyone entered party time yet? Well, Ichihime has dug themselves a pretty deep hole.
It's hard to do. It's hard to sort of calculate the level of screwed or not screwed a person is in a game where you can get theoretically infinite Uma.
But in this as we said, at this table, nobody is screwed. They're all in the running for a spot in the TakoYaku postseason. Ancient Moon here with a very good hand, it looks like. Look at that. You've got the 4/4/5 Mon. You got a triplet of 2s. You got a 4/5 open weight, a pair of 2s, and a 5/7 closed weight with a white dragon tile, just sort of chilling in their hand.
Yeah, it'll be Ishan 10 soon. All things considered, it's running up against whether or not they're going to get that closed weight 6-so or the open weight 3-peen 6-peen to fill out that hand. Whether they're going to get either of those or something in the Mon that will cause them to discard that white dragon, to depend on whether or not they're going to end up with a triplet weight or with sequence, which is a little bit exciting. But either way, it's got the right number of blocks. There comes that 3-peen. Now we are Ishan 10.
It's a little bit unfortunate, I would say, that they have that closed weight in their hand right now, the 5/7 so.
It's definitely not ideal.
Just because, given that you're an Ishan 10, your latitude to change up your weights is fairly limited. You would need to draw like a 4 or so, or a 7. Oh,
There
And
you
Biddy
go. Ooh,
enters.
there's a
Biddy
Ricci.
enters Ricci. Moon not happy
Bidding
about
on the
that
3
one.
pins, so it's a Tunky or pair weight that
Mhm.
Biddy has, but a nice closed hand, which is always a good thing. Plus, those are a couple of beautiful sequences. No special Yaku from those sequences. I believe it'll just be Ricci.
Uh-oh,
but-
uh-oh.
Uh-oh, uh-oh.
Oh, no!
Oh.
And they
just
deal
Ricci.
into that one. It's could have gone a lot worse for them, to be fair.
It could have.
But, Agent, after I can relate to I can relate to how Agent Moon must be feeling right about now. A lot of the time, you go, oh man, I'm so close to if I just discard this tile, I know it's a risky tile, but and then you get instantly punished, and it feels bad, but
If I were Biddy, I think that I would have made that same choice to stick with the one-han hand. Even though they could have gone for 3 identical sequences, they had the 6, 7, 8 so in hand. It's just that the waiting pattern that they had meant that it turned into a 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 instead of being 6, 7, 8. So they could have changed their wait sequence and waited a little bit longer, but I think just going for the win out of the gate and taking first place on the first hand of the game is definitely not a bad strategy. Aiyanna holding on to a normal amount of honor tiles.
that's a lot of honors, a lot of terminals. Missing, although they okay, they're not going for 13 orphans. Thank goodness, they're not going for it.
They've already discarded
but they could have.
terminal, so
They could have. That's true. This is true. That would have actually put them very close to 13 orphans if they had held on to that. It's an interesting
How
thought.
shiny all of our hands are. Everyone except for Aiyanna has at least one red 5.
Hmm.
And Aiyanna is holding a Dora. Sniv is also holding a Dora. So we got some nice... We got a couple extra Hans sitting in everyone's hands right now. We'll see whether those stick around.
Not a lot of promising weights going on in Aiyanna's hand.
No.
You've got the 899. That's an edge weight plus a triplet weight. That said, playing very fast, very aggressive.
Yep.
But what those East Wind and Red Dragon tiles are doing in their hand,
It's difficult
at this
to
point,
know.
it's hard to. I'm not sure that they're doing all that much for them, but and they do ditch. Oh no!
Oh, I feel everyone's pain in this moment. Ricci Ipatsu Tsumo. And again with that red
It's a
5
Mangan.
Uradora. You
Big
can see
Mangan.
those extra Han make a big difference.
It's
Again, a smart, fast hand.
as I was saying. Oh dear! Look at
Aiyanna
that.
with the hand.
Well,
One of the
they
hands of all time.
they unfortunately we're not going to be we probably won't be seeing the three dragons from Aiyanna of any flavor, given that we already have two green dragons in people's hands and now one in the discard pile. But let's look at Biddy's hand, the dealer, looking pretty good, wouldn't you say? Looking very good.
Yeah, this one's nice. I'm very into the 9 so triplet. I'm very into the 19 pair. There's a full sequence already there. Another pair, which could be add up to a triplet weight very quickly if they draw a 4
they're already in
or
Ishanten,
a 7 so.
They're already in Ishanten. They're already one away. Oh!
Wow. Aiyanna torture time has begun.
No.
The bold move, waiting on that, waiting on the Dora tile there, but I mean, you take those. You absolutely will take those.
That's also a beautiful Chanta or half outside hand. That is a Yaku which I got wrong last time I was casting for having a terminal or honor in every single meld in your hand, including the pair.
That's how it is in mahjong. Sometimes you get a really fast, nice hand, and then it turns out somebody else's hand was just that little bit faster.
I know. It's really tough. This game is already going remarkably quickly.
We're already in East 4. It feels like we just started, but the round is halfway over. Unfortunately for Sniv here, it looks like in this game that has so far been full of fast hands, Sniv's is not one of them.
No, it's a solid hand full of fundamentals, but it's not getting any closer to Tenpai as we watch it.
Mm-hmm. You've got that 2-4 closed weight, and then the 4 pin tile isn't doing anything, the 6 mon tile isn't doing anything, and then a closed triplet weight for the 7-9-9 pin.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't had a chance to develop their hand at all. Look at their discard pile full of terminals and honors. Thing. It's rough out there for Sniv.
Passing up on that pawn hurts, but it's the right move. It's a hand which has 4 blocks in it potentially, but there we go. There's a 5th block that's been added.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're getting somewhere.
We're getting somewhere.
That could be a 7-8-9. It could be a 6-7-8. Lots of potential there.
And I don't think that this hand contains I don't think anybody else's hand is particularly fast at the moment. You know, you've got Agent Moon who has the I think just the one sequence, and then is holding on to. Aiyanna does not go for pawning the red dragon.
That is fascinating.
Perhaps they're going for East Winds instead.
I see what's happening.
No, yeah, that's fair. So then this could shape up very quickly for them, depending on the tiles that other people depend. But Chitoitsu, the curse is that you are utterly dependent on drawing your own tiles.
That's the tough thing. I can't help but hurt a little bit for that discard from Sniv, clearly wanting to keep the red 5. If it were me, I would have discarded that 2-so or 4-so, because that closed weight is not as good as waiting on a 5-mon, 7-mon. But I understand the impulse to just keep. If you have tunnel vision for what your hand is right now, it can be tough to know what to keep and what to discard.
Absolutely. Sniv kind of running into an awkward hand shape with 1, 2. Oh dear. With 1, 2.
Those 3 deal-in tiles showing right up.
4.
Fortunately, they're all caught up in blocks. So unlikely to end up discarded. The video's been going for quick reachies these games. This one a little slower than usual, but still.
Yeah, sometimes that's just how the mahjong. Sometimes that's just how mahjong works. Aiyanna, I would say, is the most in danger here. Look at that. Oh dear. Both 2 deal-in tiles that are not part of blocks,
there it is.
and there we go. There we go.
You were exactly right. Those tiles were not caught up in blocks, and so they were way more likely to get discarded on a whim.
Biddy jumping out to an early lead. Well, I say early. We're in South 1. We're halfway over, aren't we?
A solid halfway through the game lead.
And a quarter of the way through table 1, TakoYaku. Let's look at Agent Moon here, the dealer for this round. Now, would it be fair to characterize this hand as kind of bad?
Yeah, if I had to put a phrase to it, I would say this rack is straight garb.
Yeah.
It's tough to be dealt so many honors at the beginning of the hand. It can sometimes be a blessing in disguise because you have, you've alluded to this before, you have safe discards, and you have plenty of opportunities to let your hand develop naturally over the first couple discards of the game, but it is infinitely better to just have a hand that works at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of having a hand that works at the beginning, Aiyanna with the with the south winds, since we're in south round and they're in they're sitting there in their the south wind seat, that's two Han right there.
It is.
And they will, and with a pair of open weights, they might well, this might well develop very quickly for them.
Well, they're choosing to get rid of one of those sequences instead of dodging one of those pairs, which is interesting. I don't know if I agree with that choice, but again, it's when you have two of a tile, it's hard to say, I'm gonna have to discard both of these. That's the trouble.
Yeah, that's fair. It's definitely something that caught me up when I was newer to Mahjong. Is that it having two of one tile can feel better than having like a proto sequence.
Absolutely.
But
if anything, someone else entering Tenpai here, entering Biddy could go into Orichi pretty soon. This hand is looking just as quick as some of their other ones. I believe they might be 2 discards away from reaching Tenpai. But pairs do afford you a little bit more. You have 2 tiles which could be potentially discarded in a row for safe discards. So that's something.
It is something. Although
it nothing.
to what extent, yeah. We see Dealin tiles lighting up on our screen here. The 7 mon.
Yes,
oh, they change up their weight. They change it. Moon changes up their weight. It's a double pair weight now.
And good that they do so.
That the only one of those tiles that is currently in anybody's hand is the 8 mon in Sniv's hand, which is locked up as part of the sequence. So something would have to go. Oh dear. Okay.
Moon is highly unlikely to discard any of these, except for perhaps that 8 mon, if a better weight arises from it. But, well, no, discarding the 8 mon if they get a 7/8 would put them in Fury 10, so they won't. Discarding the 6-so, perhaps. Either way, it's not looking good.
It's not. It's a dangerous spot for Moon to be in.
I'd say it's a more dangerous spot for aiyanna to be in. 5 different deal-in tiles being stuck in one person's hand. No way for anyone to know that, of course.
Moon, I don't think Moon has Yaku. Do you think what Yaku would? I don't believe they have Yaku.
You don't believe Moon has Yaku? That's a good point.
Given that they cheat off of the 1, 2, 3, they don't have all simples, and no other Yaku as far as I can see. So there we go. Aiyanna drawing exactly the tile that they need for a sumo. 3 Han, not bad. Absolutely, they will absolutely take that as they edge their way into second place. Although with still some distance to go before they can threaten Biddy, and not a lot of time in which to do it.
South too. I would like to say about aiyanna's gameplay, having watched their replays before. Aiyanna plays an extremely interesting game of Mahjong, which is to say they do incredibly well for how often they open the hand, because they get into Tenpai extremely fast. They have a great sense of what tiles are going to be best swayed on, and that can mitigate some of the bizarre choices that they make.
Well, you know, it's a beginners tournament. You know, we everyone has to start somewhere, and I think, you know, given that they are a beginner at Mahjong, they've got good things. They've got good things going on. They've got things going for them.
You can't knock what's working. Aiyanna got first place at one of those Hanchans at their first table, and I believe second place at the other one. So clearly something is going well, despite the 90% open hand rate.
Holy cow. Oh boy, okay.
Lots of terminals and honors being discarded here in the early
There
stages
they go
of the match.
again. There they go
Aiyanna
once again opening their hand.
Characteristically opening their hand.
As they're wont to do.
Pair of norths is interesting. It's likely that will get dealt into, but I'm interested to see whether they choose to call it. Although they've already called one triplet, so...
Could be going for all triplets, although they don't currently have...
the hand for it.
No, they've only got the one other... Well, they've got 2 pairs. They've got 2 more pairs, but they'd need to procure another one from somewhere. And I'm not they would have to get lucky with they would have to get lucky on draws.
This would be, if you're just going on what you're more likely to achieve, this would be a better Tanyao hand for Biddy than a Toy hand. But holding on to that pair of the North Wind, it's possible that holding on to that Soul Red Dragon is in the hopes that they will procure another one, but 2 Red Dragons
two have been discarded.
So it's impossible for them to get Yaku High off of.
Possibly they're going for it. Possibly they're holding on to it as a defensive tile, as a possibly. Guaranteed. Oh, here we go.
Oh, Aiyanna.
Whoa. Oh. Why?
Okay.
It's a good. I think it's a good decision. You know, it's better to fives are. Oh, and they escape the danger. Whew.
Just barely. Waiting on the North Wind now, but 2 of those are locked up in Biddy's hand as previously discussed.
And
but if they decide to shed those for
yeah, if they might go, they might well do for an all simples hand.
We've not been remarking whatsoever on the once again incredibly quick Tenpai from Aiyanna, with a Yaku High to boot. Plus a Dora sitting there in one of their calls. Moon, of course, in Tenpai and constantly changing that weight pattern. And Biddy now in Tenpai on a 1-peen 4-peen.
Although, you know, once again... Now, all the 1-peens are gone, and, you know, I don't believe they have Yaku unless they ditch that pair of... Oh! Doesn't matter. There we go.
Does not matter whatsoever. A Tanyao hand from Moon, and that'll be... Yeah, that's pretty. That'll take you up into 3rd place and out of last, which is an important place to be.
The Uma penalty for being...
come so swiftly.
The Uma penalty for being in last is steep. It is steep.
It is. Mahjong Soul operates on a +15, +5, -5, -15 system. Not the unkindest to last place players. There are certainly much more steep Uma systems which give you a vast path for last place. But -15 will hit you pretty hard, especially since you are below 2,500 to begin with. So it is more likely to be something like -20 or -30 if you end up in last place.
Or you could routinely end up it's fine. Never mind. Let's look at.
More about that,
no, it's fine. It's okay. We can tune in later tonight for my. Oh dear.
I know I will be.
All right. Well, Sniv here, holding on to the red dragon that Biddy wants. You have a. This hand is not wonderful. You have the edge weight there, the 8-9, the 8-9 of circles. You have the solo north wind that they're holding on to. Although it's developing somewhat. You know, you have the 5-5-6 potential sequence or triplet. You have the pair of 8s, the pair of 2, the 2-2-3 triplet or sequence, and then a 5 just kind of hanging out, doing what it wants.
Very much so. I'd like to point out that Aiyanna declined that Yakuhai pawn on the North Wind because they are going for Chitoitsu this round, my favorite Yaku. With 5 pairs, it was a wise decision not to ditch that for Toy. In my opinion, at least. Some may disagree.
Well, we'll see how wise that decision is in retrospect.
We'll see whether they win.
But
you never know. There's a triplet of 5 Mon entering Biddy's hand.
Oh, and there goes that red dragon tile.
ポン
Yes, indeed. A small, safe hand is perfect for Biddy right now. Being the dealer will mean that they get to repeat if they win this hand. Plus, they're in first place anyway, so just taking as many small, safe, quick hands as you can is the route to victory. And it looks like they have just enough blocks in their hand, although it's unclear whether the 8-mon or the 2-peen is going to end up the pair.
It's a good problem. It's a good thing. That's a good thing. You know, like to have that flexibility in case something else comes up. In case you have the chance to convert one of those into a sequence or a triplet, and we'll see here.
Which happens here.
There we go. It happens. Awkward spot though. You have.
It is. They've now removed a block from the hand, so now we only have 4 blocks total, including the red dragon that was already discarded, and no sense of where the 4th meld will come from.
Yeah, there's the 6-mon and then the 5-peen, the 6 of characters and the 5 of circles. As we see, I believe is it Sniv that goes into Tenpai? I'm not sure.
It is Moon that goes into Tenpai, waiting on 2-peen and 5-peen with a hand that I'm not sure has a Yaku.
Let's see. No, that's
Tanyo,
three. That's three triplets. So they're technically
Toy.
in.
It will be though.
They're
Clearly, they
technically
are ditching that Tenpai in order to get into Yaku position.
They'd need to pick up another pair from somewhere.
Indeed. It looks like they are doing what all experienced Toitsuers know, which means me, which is checking how many of a tile have been discarded every single time you draw something new, just to see what is best to keep in your... That rapidly changing weight pattern is but an illusion, as they cannot call anything quite yet.
It could potentially be valuable as we get down to the closing stages of the game. 15 tiles left in the wall. It can be useful to be in Tenpai,
Certainly.
even if you don't have Yaku. If you have an exhaustive draw. To collect those tasty no-ten payments.
Biddy has found that 4th meld, waiting on the 6-peen, but does not get a chance to utilize it, as Sniv sneaks into a Tenpai right at the end. Good job, Sniv.
Good job, Sniv. They climb into 3rd place, overtaking Agent Moon, who dealt in to their hand.
Indeed. Give me a break? No.
There are no breaks in TakoYaku.
There are no breaks in TakoYaku.
The taco train has no breaks.
Last match of this one.
Sniv, let's see. This once again, not the greatest hand. The closed.
No, certainly not the kind of hand you want for all last.
No.
Oof! But Aiyanna has the kind of hand you want for all last.
Oh boy.
It can be extremely beneficial for the 2nd place player to win a few hands, giving 3rd and 4th place the opportunity to scuffle a bit in the background.
That Tuso is not part of. Oh well, there. I was going to say that Tuso is not part of any blocks, but it looks like it is now part of the an edge weight, a 1-2 waiting on a 3. Not the best weight, but it does tilt the balance away from an immediate deal in.
It's interesting. Would you say that the objective here for Moon and Sniv is more so to win or more so not to deal in?
Well, there's on the one hand, not dealing in is always nice. Playing defensively and hoping that somebody else loses before you do hoping that somebody else slips up before you. However, there's a secret hidden second way to avoid dealing in, and that's called winning the hand.
It's true.
So in this position, like you would absolutely take just like a short push, like a one han hand, a 2 han hand, and just take second place for yourself. Potentially.
Yeah, that would do it. But there's the sumo from Aiyanna entering torture time.
ズモ、ごめんなさいね。
Ooh, that's a beautiful kinfu.
It's a chunky hand. They not enough to enter first place, but Aiyanna will absolutely take that as we close out the match.
Not quite. Wait. Yes, indeed. You and I forget that the confirm button only shows up when you have to click it. That is a win for Biddy. You are quite correct.
Biddy taking 23.6 Uma. Aiyanna coming out with 7.7, whereas Sniv and Agent Moon lose out this hand. Which is not the best for them considering how tight it is at this table in terms of their total Uma count.
If I take a moment to input these scores into the spreadsheet, we'll see how this affects the standing. My beautiful standing. Biddy was highly in need of that particular win, being the closest to the danger zone of everyone at this table.
We will have those updated scores for you momentarily, folks.
Yes.
More time for gambling. This is true.
More time for gambling, indeed. And here it is. Assuming I've done everything. Yes, I do believe I have. I had a moment of panic where I thought I had broken the entire spreadsheet. But it looks like Moon now occupies the place that Biddy once did, one step away from the terrifying danger zone. Snive with a negative 0.8 Uma overall now is not much better. Biddy crawling up to a, what is that? A 12th place in these standings. In the top half now, but still one bad hand away from the danger zone. Let's see. While Aiyanna coasts here at the top, and seems to be impossible to take down. Of course, it's very possible. People have had some very bad hands in this tournament, folks. And they only have 44.2 Uma, which can be destroyed in a single stroke, as I'm well aware. But the cap for the danger zone appears to be around negative 22, so unless you can take out 60 Uma in a single Hanshan, I think Aiyanna might have clinched this one. For our other competitors, though, the next Hanshan will hold the secrets to progressing in this tourney single-handedly. I think that joke is funny.
I think we're TakoYaku. It's okay.
I think TakoYaku as a tournament name is. And if I'm not mistaken, MRM, I think we'll be back after a short break.
Yes, we will be back in a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, to TakoYaku.
I have important news from the floor from TakoYaku, which is that Ivy TakoYaku has just DM'd me to inform me about the minimum and maximum UMA you can get from a single match. Thank you, Ivy. I didn't know those numbers before. The numbers for the Enterprising are negative 88 for the lowest amount of UMA you can get in a single game, and the most amount of UMA you can get is 163.
Aiyanna,
Now you know exactly how bad and how good it can get.
Aiyanna, Aiyanna far in the lead when it comes to UMA, whereas at 50-ish, whereas Sniv and Agent Moon, whereas Sniv and Biddy, yes. Whereas Sniv and Biddy are neck and neck around the break-even point, and Biddy is going to be desperate to have a good result this hand to get out of the danger zone, or at least not have a terrible hand, or at least not have a terrible result. Unfortunately for them, it looks like Sniv is getting very close to a half flush.
Yeah. Beautiful Hanitsu, anybody?
Although the state that their hand is in right now is a little difficult to interpret. Even for me, an uninvolved commentator.
Oh, you're so right. There are many ways that this hand could be interpreted, and all of them are maybe equally confusing. Agent Moon getting quite lucky with keeping those two white dragons, which was one white dragon until just a moment ago. But what I really like is how shiny Aiyanna's hand is right now. So shiny Tenpai.
Okay. Oh, phew. Okay, so it looks like most of these deal-in tiles, there are a lot of them, but they're at least locked up as potential blocks. The most vulnerable one, I would say, is, oh, and here's Ricci, which further...
Really good. Oh, no, okay, it's okay. It's
further
fine.
makes those deal-in tiles unavailable for the general public. The most vulnerable block here, I would say, is definitely Biddy Bites. 6/8 so. It's a closed weight.
So.
You don't want to. You don't like to see closed weights. You want to try and get rid of them if you can. But. Oh no.
It's gone. It's gone.
It's
so
gone
normal.
terribly wrong. Oh. Such a promising hand, but slain by the red fives and the red dragon.
I'll have everyone know I have some early insight on this hand from Aiyanna, saying two things in a row in the table chat before we started back the stream. As you know, the stream is 5 minutes behind the actual progress of the hand, and what Aiyanna said was, 1, am I doing IV torture time right? Yes, they are. And 2, there's no Yaku for getting all of the red fives. Aww.
It's breaking news for those interested.
There is no Yaku for getting all of the red fives. It does give you 3 Han, so I don't think you are allowed to complain. Moon ditching the 9. What the hell? The north wind before the south wind. Interesting, given one of those is the seat wind and one of those is garbage.
I mean, it depends on what. It depends on what sort of strategy you're going for. It can be. Some people discard dangerous tiles early. Some people discard dangerous tiles last in this opening stage of the game.
It's a way I hadn't thought about it before. The Northwind is a tile you know is not valuable to anyone else.
So you wait. You're waiting and hoping to get another south wind tile, drawing it out. Although the risk is, of course, that other people have had time to do the same, and by ditching the south wind, by ditching a valuable tile.
感します
Of course.
Yes, let's go.
Aiyanna
Let's
would
go.
never betray me. Aiyanna knows that when that shiny button pops up, you have to hit it.
You do. Although I will say this much, they're not the West. they're not.
No.
The West isn't their seat wind. So
This hand is not looking good as far as Yaku go.
But in
I
terms
think
of
that was the
being
right
funny
decision morally.
goes, that was an excellent move.
As far as entertaining, the commentators of the
In
match,
terms of entertainment value, top tier hand. Yakuman for entertainment value. Maybe not a Yakuman in reality, but we'll
in the traditional sense.
exactly. Sniv with a very promising looking hand. They're already in Tenpai.
Yeah.
They have that double pair weight, and look at that. They two people here with
here we go.
oh there you go. There you
I'm
go.
particularly fond of the Suji trap involved in that particular weight on the 4-peen. They had already discarded the 7-peen, which makes 4-peen Suji, but not in this instance. I mean, it's still
makes
Suji,
it-
it just isn't correct.
It makes it look safe. But you know the thing is that it makes it look safe, and it makes it marginally safer. But you know that middle tile in any particular Suji sequence is it's bad news. It's risky business.
It is bad news.
Let's have a look at our dealer here, Sniv, with one sequence right out of the gate, but otherwise not a lot going on. They have the 1, 3, 4, 6, which is always frustrating. That kind of thing is always frustrating to see personally, because the 1 and 6
it's
are
either two closed weights or an open weight with a couple of garbage next to it.
exactly. It's very bad for efficiency. But, you know, there's always a chance that it could turn into something.
You just gotta play it by ear. It seems like Sniv's main problem this table has been mostly just dealing in, and the struggle to get into Tenpai quite quickly enough to score a few hands of their own. But they've been doing a very decent job keeping the hand closed, keeping the hand safe, just ending up dealing into some unfortunate weight patterns. This East 3, though, is a great time for them to try and make that difference back with a couple of repeat counters.
And you know, it's shaping up okay now. Like they've got that sequence, they've got a couple of pairs. Although, you know, an edge weight in the 8-9 is not necessarily oh dear. Okay, Agent Moon enters Tenpai. You can see those red danger tiles showing up on your screen.
Agent Moon enters Tenpai, but currently without a Yaku, although it could turn into a Yaku relatively quickly. See, there you go. Cannot leave that tile, or else they will be in temporary Furitan. Cannot leave that tile, because currently they are in permanent Furitan. But this is not the weight pattern that they want.
No, it's one of the things to learn when you're just learning mahjong is when is it a good idea to hit the shiny button, and maybe that time not could maybe a little bit more patience would have been prudent, but you know, it's part of everybody's learning journey. It was part of mine.
Tough. Leaving that tile would have, well, it wouldn't have put them in Furitan at all, considering that they were right up next after that discard. But now they are in a very difficult situation based on what Yaku they can possibly get. They're holding on to two valued tiles in the hopes that they can get a pair which will allow them to get a Yaku high weight. But it's not a good situation to be in.
It's rough, and that you already see one red dragon tile out there. You already see the two west winds.
Yes.
So they're banking on basically they're banking on drawing another red dragon, and then somebody drawing the last. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. It's over. Their only hope is under the sea or under the river. That's winning off of the last. That's a Yaku. That is based off of getting a winning hand with either the last tile drawn from the wall or the last discard. And they will not get it because
the last time we casted each other, we saw it happen, which was extremely exciting.
It's extreme. It's very funny. It's very funny. You should have it. You should do it sometime.
Yaku to have. But not this hand, as Biddy claims another. Robbing Sniv, unfortunately, of the opportunity to get a couple of those points back, but this hand that Sniv has been dealt here is ripe for a Honitsu and maybe a Yakuman? Or Yakuman. A Yakuhai in there somewhere?
Biddy, our dealer, Biddy, our dealer, on the other hand, has gotten a very lucky hand. Look at that, 3-5,
So.
a 1-2-3, a 5-6 open weight, a pair of 9s, pair of 4s, and to cap it all off, you've got the 1-2-3, the 1-2-3 Mon sequence. They may be in Ishan 10, one away from 10
They are,
Pi.
in fact, in Ishan 10, ditching that 5 Mon as soon as they get a 4-peen, a 9-so, a 4-so, or a 7-so. Four different tiles capable of improving this hand.
That said, though, like these two particular pairs are not necessarily the best situation. The 4-peen and the 9-so, the 4 of circles and the 9 of bamboo are both sort of far away from any of their other tiles. So it's looking very likely that this will be a double pair wait. They'll be looking for another 4 or another 9, and they already have 2 of the 4 of those tiles that are out there in the world. So it's a rough situation, but definitely won't. There you go. It's happened.
Pair wait in action. There is a Suzy trap set on that 4-peen. Quite fortunately.
It's still not wonderful because look at where those deal-in tiles are in people's hands.
I know.
There's
only one of them is nowhere. Only one of them that can be dealt for a Tsuno, and that Richi locks in that double pair wait. But I don't think it's unlikely that Moon chooses to shed one of those 9-so. They are superfluous at the end of a sequence at the moment.
It's a precarious situation. They really will want to draw a 6-so.
Much so. Sniv's Honitsu is shaping up.
Oh no! Oh dear! Okay.
Well.
No.
Aiyanna. Sniv has been robbed many a time.
Over and over and over. It's truly tragic, is what it is. It's sometimes that's just how it goes in mahjong. Sometimes
Aiyanna cementing that lead as we head into South 1.
Yep, halfway through the match. Just 4 more hands to go before we wrap up our broadcast of Table 1. Agent Moon with a pretty you're not turning up your nose at the pair of dragon tiles, and
can't turn your nose at that now.
They do have they do have that open weight. They do have that 2-3 proto sequence as well as the 1-3-5-7-9. which is at the very least, ripe for turning into something, even if it isn't
Certainly,
something
there's
right
plenty
now.
of tiles that could improve that segment of the hand. I don't love that 6 was dealt. You can't control that, but I was really hoping they could safely get rid of that 5 as a tile that was unlikely to improve their hand. That's just my aesthetic sense creeping in, though. 3
Pitching
pair.
the 3 pairs.
Not ideal.
Not the best, no, but they're at least one of those pairs is the green dragons.
Yes.
So you can hope that, in fact, you can more or less guarantee that one of those will be given up, given that Snive has held on to the green dragon, in even as we get down to 50 tiles or so left in the wall. Potentially playing defensively, although
4 pairs.
given that they're
G2A2 watch. Just want to point that one out.
I'm not sure that I would make the same decision in their shoes. Given that a 2-3 weight to a 3-3 weight is a bit of a downgrade in my estimation.
It is a downgrade, and this hand becomes more toy like, or at the very least, has too many blocks.
Yes.
リーチです
And Aiyanna enters Ricci, waiting on. It's a closed waiting for that 3-mon. Only one of those not locked up in somebody's hand, and the location of that tile is unknown.
Who's to say? Could be drawn in for a sumo.
Is there anyone else
what
who
Moon
would?
is doing with this hand, though. Here we have, of course, the block number decreasing to a much more reasonable amount. But it's, again, impossible for them to get a call on 3-mon at this point, which means they are depending on calling the 7-so and the 6-peen for a toy. Not the fastest hand that you could make if you are East Wind.
No, you're really just sort of like leaving your mouth open and hoping that Yaku swims into it.
It's a good analogy.
It's not really the best. It's not really the. It's not really the most. It's not really the fastest thing you can do, especially given that you're.
There it goes.
Okay.
Look at that beautiful red hand.
Well, let's see who's in danger here. Why not? 6-peen, 7-so. You can see 1 7-so is in the discard pile. And there's the. Oh no, it's not gonna happen. It's gone. That hand is dead. Look at that. There's the 1 7-so. There's the 1 7-so left in the discard pile of Biddy, and then the other in Snive's hand, who has just gone into Ricci. So it is impossible. Well, actually, it's not impossible. There's you could still 1 6-peen out there, but Aiyanna probably. Not likely to give that one up.
Little bit of blustering going on about whether or not people are going to spend a long time on their discards and pretend they've reached sumo.
Oh! Snive will be happy to see that. Snive will be.
It is most importantly a win for Snive.
A something that they will very much appreciate, that climbing into 3rd place. Remember that Snive is on the bubble. They are just they all that they need to do here is not have a bad hand, and they will be most likely into the playoffs.
Snive in 3rd place in the overall standings. According to people from this table, 3rd out of the people from this table in the overall standing. It's a much clearer way of putting that. But if you look at the raw scores, 2nd of the people of this table. That's the difference that UMA versus raw scores makes. Snive has had better overall. I won't say better overall performance. Worse overall performance, but some better individual moments in this tournament so far.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that shows in the way that they play. They can build these nice big hands. It's just a crapshoot whether or not they'll ever score any of them.
Mm-hmm. Aiyanna, our dealer.
A strange pawn of not that strange. It is the round wind, which I always forget every single time.
Yep, they will. They're. It's open season on cheese and pawns for them. Look at Aiyanna. Well, Aiyanna is. I was gonna say that hand had a lot of like early speed, but has slowed down dramatically. Waiting. They don't even have a pair yet.
Waiting on 4 different tiles. It would be better to discard that 1p if you're just looking for a pair. But I understand the hesitance, given that currently you have 2 possible sequences.
I think that, if you're looking to enter the admittedly not ideal state of waiting to complete a pair, one, 2s, 3s, 7, 8, 9s are not terrible, especially this early in the game.
Certainly not. Now, why?
Because people. I can understand it. The 5. If you draw a 5, I was thinking, this has the potential to turn into like an open weight, but unfortunately, that would be 4e10. If they drew a 5, then that becomes a 4/5, and then they've discarded the 6, so they can't run off of anybody else's off of any 3s or 6s that other people at this table might discard. That said, though,
I admit, MRM, I had a bit of an instinctual response to watching this turn into a closed weight. Not remembering that this was an edge weight to begin with, and so they are still just waiting on 3 so, just in a different way. But you are right, drawing a 5 so does not prove this hand, and in fact is not good for this hand.
It would be detrimental, not strictly detrimental. Oh dear. Well, it looks like they might be waiting a while, and because Agent Moon is in Tenpai and is also waiting on that 3 so.
But I would like to ask for not the first time this stream, what is Moon's Yaku?
What is Moon's Yaku? It's
a constant question.
Many people are asking this.
Many people are asking this. I feel like I make jokes about these hands, and so I sound very mean
here we go.
Players. It's not true. I respect their play greatly, and I'm interested in what's happening. And I have been known, as much as any other person, to just accidentally enter absolutely stupid no Yaku or 4e10 configurations for no good reason.
It's something, once again, the TakoYaku is a beginners tournament. I think it's great that they I think it's great that they showed up, they agreed to be. Oh, here we go. It's that exact situation. Oh, they'll want desperately to complete
the
that.
Temporary 4e10.
Yeah, to complete that sequence. Oh, okay.
What could it be?
Well, there are 4 tiles left in the wall.
Freed.
4 tiles left in the wall. And I don't think anyone will want to give up their two pin.
But it could still.
So that's nothing. It can't happen.
But it is, if nothing else, Tenpai, as was Agent Moon and Sniv. Good job, Sniv.
Good job, Sniv. Staying in third. It's a good place to. It's not a bad place to be, and
it's a good time to drain points off of Biddy. So here's our first repeat counter of the entire table. We have had none in both Hanshan so far. These games have been speeding along at a pace which will only lengthen the gap in this TakoYaku Friday night marathon. Agent Moon begins with 3 red dragons, which just seems unfair.
That shouldn't be allowed. If that happens, you should have to discard your hand and start over.
If that happens, you should have to enter Furry 10 and walk into the sea.
Exactly. If that's illegal and bad sportsmanship, and you should be very ashamed. We say this. Aiyanna has also drawn three dragons as a closed hand.
Be allowed.
Yeah, it's just it's not the kind of thing you want to see in a society that considers itself to be advanced. To have grown past this,
What upsets me, MRM, is the amount of concealed triplets on this table right now. We have the 2 Mon in Aiyanna's hand, we have the White Dragon in Aiyanna's hand, Red Dragon in Moon's hand, and 9 Mon in Sniv's hand. What is this world coming to?
What is it coming to? That many people are asking this.
So many opportunities to hit the con button, on the other hand.
This is true. We see Aiyanna discarded that 3 pin. Which unfortunately, I think increased their. It didn't strictly increase their Shanten. They switched from having to wait for a 2 or a 3, a 2 or a 4 to just having to wait on another one pin. But you know, there's only one other 1 pin out there, and it's not in anybody's hands.
Well, it's looking like the 5 pin is going to be the tile they ditch right now. And they're going to go into 1 pin and 1 Mon triplet weights.
Double, yeah.
I am sad that this will not be Toy, but understand that the importance of getting a hand out there is greater when you are the dealer itself,
when you're the
too.
dealer.
Even in first place. Especially in first place. Don't be tempted. That was me psychically.
That was, yeah.
5 minutes ago.
Biddy's also in Tenpai. They're waiting on that 3 pin, but there's one that's been discarded. One is in Sniv's hand and part of a sequence, so they're relying on either drawing it themselves or having somebody else discard it, draw and then discard.
2 left is not the worst number that could be left.
Yeah, it could be a lot worse for sure.
Is this an Aiyanna
Come on,
moment?
press the button. Yes, let's go.
Biddy, unfortunately... Oh, well, never mind. Nothing ever goes wrong for Biddy. I was going to say, unfortunately, Enrichi cannot pawn that main dragon for a Yakuhai, but they have a pure straight, so who cares?
Who cares? Aiyanna will be sad, though, to have conned into 4 Dora tiles, and then to have it robbed from them cruelly. And
see, it's difficult. I mean, it is robbed truly, but we've discussed before on this program that it's maybe, you know, it's gonna sound bad of me to say this, but maybe it's not the best idea to con if someone else is in reaching. Like maybe it's not strategically a good idea.
On the other hand, it's very fun. You can't deny that it's fun.
It's purple.
It's the purple button. You gotta slap that purple button.
Sniv has a wonderful opportunity again to crawl out of what is now a deep last place, having delved into that Mongon. Like I said, dealing in.
Yep.
That's the trouble.
Using
that deal-in rate will be the most important.
Defense is kind of
and that Yakuhai of East Wind does allow them leeway to chi the Dora, to have this happen.
Defense is kind of a woolly concept to get your head around. It requires you do need to have enough experience to be familiar with the mechanics of Riichi Mahjong.
Yes. It also requires you to accept the concept of folding, something which I am still unwilling to do.
It's such a it can feel that's the thing I think in mahjong, learning all of the mechanics is like 10% of it. That's a solid 10% of what there is to learn in mahjong. And then the other 90% is learning when to use those mechanics. Like when is it actually a good idea
supposed to hit the purple button?
Exactly. This is true. This is exactly what I'm saying.
There's a 10-5 for waiting on 5.
It's a very good weight.
8 peen.
But not the most valuable hand. That's 2 Han, I think, for their seat wind. Oh, sumo. Well, there you go. They draw the red 5. Yes. Possibly no Uridora, but
3 Han 30 fu.
They'll take that. They will absolutely take that as the dealer. As they do climb out of 4th place into 3rd, although narrowly.
Superstar Snivekins will never die.
They never will die. This is true. And many people are saying this. Although their hand this time is it's decent. Like they're worse hands. The 4P is not doing anything. The 9 so is not doing anything. But the rest and the 9 mon as well. But, the rest seems well. That's something.
Yeah, it's not the greatest draw in the world.
Yeah. It at least
is not an advantageous position to be in, but
no,
you can't help it.
You can't help it. Just there you go. 4 pairs now. 4 pairs could go for Chitwitsu.
Chitwitsu watch. Moon and Aiyanna both seeming unwilling to get rid of those solo green dragons, given they are the Dora this round. Not a bad instinct to have, as long as you have other things like that 1 peen in your hand that are taking up space.
Agent
Discarding
Moon.
that 3 peen, on the other hand, tile efficiency mom would not be so happy.
Agent Moon, look at that. They cheated the 789, which means they're going to be dependent on drawing a green dragon or a west wind.
Yes.
And they kind of, and even if they draw the west wind, Sniv would have to give up their pair, which I think they would be not all that willing to do. So, green dragon, gonna have to draw a green dragon.
Very much so.
No way around it, really.
What I personally like to call the Asherlark dilemma, which is where you draw the 3rd of a pair that you have while you are trying to get Chitwitsu going. Like, it's just hard emotionally to pass that up.
Exactly. Oh, and that's dead. It's probably over for Agent Moon already. They would have to draw the 4th green dragon tile. And then Aiyanna would have to give theirs up, which they may not be willing to do, given how late we are. Given how how comparatively narrow. It's not the narrowest lead, but it's also not wonderful. Could very much vulnerable to either of the any of the players here.
There was Sniv. Sniv was in Ishan 10 for a couple of different hand improving tiles. Does not end up in Chitwitsu, but does have those 2 beautiful concealed triplets and a perfectly valid hand with another.
Oh, there you go. You go.
I just had to manifest. What I was going to say, though, is that there are very few situations where I feel right saying that concealed triplet's not that good for your hand. But it would have been a saving grace for Moon to be able to go for a Pinfu. Having that triplet in your hand just makes you extremely resistant to discarding those tiles.
Oh, and Sniv getting a good draw, 2 red dragon tiles. Although, so the 1/9 so isn't doing anything. That's trash. The East Wind, I guess they can hold on to it. Although, well, that's 4 pairs.
No.
4 pairs already. We're in Chitwitsu watch.
Chitwitsu. I would point out that pawn of the valueless East Wind is still a good choice for Biddy, who has a
two white dragons.
High weight on the Dora white dragon.
could be a very big hand for our current leader.
Mm-hmm. High opportunity to enter Honitsu as well by getting rid of Half Flesh, by getting rid of those Peen, as it seems like they are inclined to do. A little bit greedy, but I don't hate it.
本です。
We appreciate a little greed here on the
Greed is a virtue. Don't quote me.
Specifically in the context of TakoYaku. In other situations, your mileage may vary.
Of course. Con.
Con. Yeah, by the way, Con.
And that's all that needs to be said about that.
本です。
Ooh. Aiyanna's hand shaping up, and that's going to be a Tanyao, or, of course, a Yakuhai potentially. Doesn't seem likely, but it's always possible.
There aren't any other green dragons out there. Nobody's holding on to any. Nobody's discarded any. So it's certainly possible, but if they go for it and deal that and discard that white dragon, things could get very rocky very quickly.
I approve of course, keeping the white dragon from Biddy. Aiyanna does not know that they are doing this, but I approve of it.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, all I was going to say is that it could be it could be an intentional defensive move to hold on to a Dora tile and just hope that you get to exhaustive draw and everybody dies.
Yes.
And the danger is over. But
as far as Aiyanna is concerned, it is equally likely that they end up drawing a white dragon as it is a green dragon, and that white dragon is more valuable. Sniv Tenpai. And I would like to point out it was a good move for Sniv to continue making these calls. They do have no Yaku potential. They cannot actually call that 3-mon because they do not have a Yaku at that point.
Yeah.
But they feel confident that they are going to end up with that red dragon.
I know
And I don't disagree.
Oh, they don't pawn. They do not. Oh wait, no, of course. Yeah, no, never mind. Never mind. Yeah.
It would be a
Oh, but look at that.
it would be worse. They did.
Dora indicator, red. The red dragon. We have one confirmed sighting of a red dragon up there. Oh,
you're so right.
Oh wait, no. Moon does not have Yaku.
The Moon no Yaku shuffle
Moon no Yaku
continues.
Shuffle. It
Apace. Wow, we got some real hands happening in here. Biddy's still looking for some way to make this
happen.
Yaku Hive happen.
Oh.
Ooh.
I was about to say that possibly they didn't know, but that 4 quads draw, conning 4 times, forces the hand to start over, which may well have saved them.
This is the danger of con.
From a horrible fate.
Of course. Saving everyone from having to sit through any more of that, and forcing me to add a new column to my spreadsheet.
All
It's a
right.
good day when a new message appears on the Mahjong Soul UI, which I have to then interpret in some way. Sniv has a good Yakuhai weight happening here, and is free to get rid of that Dora and the Red Dragon, as I think, yes, they will, because they have that Yakuhai weight. Although, as Biddy showed last hand, that's by no means a sure thing.
You can. That's why it's risky to go to open your hand before you actually have that weight locked down.
And one of those south winds is, of course, the Dora indicator. So you know how it is with spaghetti.
It is that. It's very true. Very true.
Thanks for indulging the saying that I got out of nowhere.
I mean I assume that it's very true. I would hope so.
It is. I appreciate your trust in that. Aiyanna again choosing to keep the Dora around.
You know, it wouldn't be, it's not a terrible idea to hold on to it just in case you get another, in case you happen to draw another. Nobody is holding on to any, although of course they don't know this. But the longer you hold on to...
the freedom to hold on to whatever they want. They pawned the white dragon early in the game.
Yes, absolutely. Although, you know, although to be fair, the longer an honor tile sits in your hand for, the hotter and hotter it gets.
Yes.
The riskier that tile becomes. Sniv Ricci. They'd be
sad
going
that they
for...
could not keep around that potential pure double sequence, which is one of my favorite Yaku. There's the chasing Ricci from Pity. But I by no means hate this beautiful Yaku High hand that's happening here. It's small, it's fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like a rat.
Like a rat. Moon in danger here. Moon very much in danger of dealing into that.
Is going
it's
away.
all alone. It is all alone. It is isolated, and just asking to be discarded, asking to deal in.
It's every time that they discard those Mon that are next to the Peen, I just feel like their hands are getting too close to a fire. Oh, here it comes. No! Not yet.
No Yaku either. No Yaku.
No Yaku!
Oh!
There it is. Common, Sniv, W.
Extremely common. We're going around one more time, folks. Repeat number 3. Sniv getting very, very close to the lead.
I have to admit, MRM, I'm extremely pleased by the amount of repeat counters which have been accumulated in this stage of the game alone, because casting for only an hour, I mean, that's not enough. We promised a full Black Friday night of TakoYaku, and we can't wait for 2 hours until the next stream.
Think of the customer. Think of the people who are at home.
Think of what we're selling.
Exactly. You've got to think about customer service, Ash. This is my advice to you.
Of course. I'm thinking about it really hard. I'm really enjoying this hand from Sniv with 3 sequences and the 2-4 proto sequence. Opportunity to have the Southwind or the 2-Peen as a pair.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they choose will end up being... Yeah.
Oh well, there you go. It's a closed
Two-so,
wait.
rather.
It's a closed wait.
Not a Peenfu, but it is a rat hand.
A rat hand. Agent Moon holding on to a closed wait, kind of on that 3-Peen.
Yeah, it still seems likely to get discarded, but not before a bunch of those solo honors.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to happily point out that Moon has a Yaku today.
Yes, let's go.
It's Moon Yaku Friday, everybody.
Moon Yaku Friday. This is that many people are it's a it's a national holiday. How too spicy.
Honba. Just explode them, Sniv.
Explode them with your mind.
Explode them with your mind. Enter first place. Hero of my heart, Superstar Sniv, who I began rooting for halfway through this casting session.
Oh, and they have the 2 double east wind tiles for...
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, man.
Discard that east wind, Biddy. You know you want to.
You do know you want to.
I'm incapable of going an hour and 30 minutes watching a Mahjong match without choosing a dog in the fight. And today my dog is Sniv.
It turns out to have been a good competitor to back. Meanwhile, I am I'm regretting my choice to bet on Aiyanna slightly, slightly a little bit, but not because not because I dislike Aiyanna. I think that they're a wonderful person. Oh, there it is. There it goes.
There it goes.
Very fast hand.
Waiting on,
very fast
getting
hand.
a pair to happen here, but capable of calling chi on either a 3-mon or a 6-mon in order to just get a tile that they can get a Tanki weight for. Not this one though. That's not one of them.
Not that one. That's that one's nothing.
That one's not it.
Aiyanna does not holding on to any of those tiles that Sniv needs.
No. So, you know, might be a minute.
Agent Moon has cheated off of has cheated an 8 for a 7-8-9 sequence. Does pick up that red dragon tile.
The red
Aiyanna
dragon
might
is
very
good.
well.
I was just about to be verbally concerned about the direction that this hand was heading. But you proved me wrong, Agent Moon, by the luck of your draw.
And that it's all skill, baby.
It's all skill. Let this be a lesson to our viewers that if you chi a terminal into your hand,
simply draw 2 dragons. Simply do that. Why don't people do this?
Simply draw 2 dragons, yes. That's better advice. Better advice. Who cares about how I feel about your hand? I'm not your mom. Tile efficiency trainer is your mom.
Tile efficiency trainer is.
There's the pair. Sniv entering 10th. Beautiful.
It's a closed weight. It's a closed weight, but.
Think about it real hard, then don't pawn. There you go. Good job.
It's you love to see that.
It's a
I will
close
say,
weight, but only one of those tiles are out. The one in Biddy's hand is unlikely to get discarded as it's currently part of a nice-looking sequence, although it may, now, that sequence is extended to include a 9, so it's now part of the closed weight. It looks. Con! The red dragon is right.
Red dragon is. It's just asking. Oh. Aiyanna holding on to it in the naive hope to draw another one. But it's going to be a test of how long can they afford to.
There you go. That's the 3-mon I expected to see that discard.
Yeah, that's the risk of having weights for of having a weight for 4, 5, 6. People are not likely to give those tiles up. They're parts of They're parts of lots of different sequences, proto sequences, and as you get as you learn and grow as a mahjong player, you start to get the sense that those tiles are dangerous. Oh no!
Well, don't worry. Moon has no Yaku.
Moon has no Yaku. False alarm. False alarm, folks.
So much worry in our hearts, only for Aiyanna to be the one to deal in. No, it didn't happen.
It hasn't happened yet. They've got triples. They've got a whole bunch of triples, but
the stubbornness in refusing tenpai.
They're not going to deal in.
order to not discard. Huh? What just happened, folks?
Did they turn down?
You know what happened? They accidentally called pawn instead of Ron.
Oh.
That hurts like nothing else.
And they're in Furi 10. They're in Furi 10 for the 5. They have to. They have to draw another one, but they can't because they're all taken. Oh,
there
okay.
You go. There's the 9-mon. So now both Sniv and Moon setting up for a vicious double run. That though, that's a move I've never seen before.
Here it goes.
I am shocked that Moon was able to pull that back out, and pleased that Sniv won a hand.
We're mahjonging deep into the night, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary people.
Lots of honors being dealt into the hands here on the 6th repeat of South 3. Something I will have.
99杯
My God, 7.
7.
Lots of honors being dealt in hands here at the 7th repeat of South 3. Something which I will have so much fun in putting into my spreadsheet.
7 repeats. This has never happened. That's never happened to me. Holy
Get
cow.
out your GDQ emotes, folks, because this has never happened before.
This has never happened before.
History of competitive mahjong. We're making history here on TakoYaku.
Exactly.
With the 7 Honba counters. I wonder when, I guess the Honba counters only stop when someone explodes. I would assume there's no actual cap. Doesn't seem like there's a reason.
Theoretically, there's no reason that a mahjong game couldn't run forever.
Oh, a mahjong game could absolutely last forever.
It's the same kind of low-grade horror as exists in the game of baseball, which means that if you like mahjong, there's no reason for you to think baseball is boring and it sucks. You should get into baseball. With that out of the way,
The right co-commentator to make this pitch with. You should get into baseball because a baseball game also can theoretically go forever, and that is the most exciting thing of all.
You might well watch watch history unfold on the field as you enter the 789th inning between the Chicago White Sox and the Detroit Tigers, who have been unable to score a run for approaching a year.
TakoYaku viewers, would you listen to me and our MRM's nonsense sports talk podcast? Would you tell me the truth?
I mean, I'd listen to it, but that's because I would be on it. So you know, I would listen to it as it happened, thereby
Would you listen to it again
circumventing
after the fact? I'm paying attention to the mahjong game, I promise.
Yes, we're paying attention to the mahjong.
We are. There's just not much to say right now. Sniv took that pawn of the valueless North Wind in a move that again indicates they seem confident about getting that Yaku High Green Dragon. Aiyanna shown to be stubborn in holding onto those. Biddy's hand is probably shaping up quickest, factually shaping up quickest, as they have Ishan 10. And Moon auspiciously drew 2 white dragons, but those other 2 white dragons are both sitting in Biddy's discards, so...
Ooh,
how
unfortunate.
is the Yaku looking?
Well, it's not looking wonderful, folks. They could go all simples. They could go all
It
simples.
is Sniv Tenpai hour for an 8 Honba counter.
And they could absolutely change up that weight to something
Certainly.
something more to a closed weight, to an open weight, that is. Although they might not want to, depending on what tiles they draw. That could be a dangerous
draw
move.
the 3-peen, putting them in free 10 if they take it. So.
No, that's true. They can't change up their weight. They have to stick with this because if they draw the 7, they ditch the 4 and deal in. Well, actually, no, they don't.
Yes.
They don't, because that's Moon's, I think.
Well, yes.
Oh wait, no, that's Biddy Bites. No, never mind. Sorry.
No, you were right.
So
You've confused me and then unconfused me.
As it were, Sniv can't. If Sniv draws a 7, they cannot ditch the 4 because they would deal in. If they draw a 3, they can't ditch the 6 because then they're in free 10. They have to stick with this closed weight.
Yes. They don't know they do.
Oh, and it pays off.
8 Honba counter. Double run. I'm not looking at TakoYaku chat. I hope they are enjoying this. World.
This is expensive. This is an expensive
That
loss.
is tough.
They dropped
time for Biddy
near
to
to the back
explode a little
of.
bit.
They dropped
Still ends
near
up
to
in
the
third,
back
but
of.
loses the second place spot to Aiyanna.
Yeah, absolutely. They're separated from Agent Moon by just 300 points. Even something as trivial as a one as even something as trivial as a one on hand could drop them to the back of the pack. As while I was going to say as time counts down, Sniv's hand is not looking amazing.
Standing still.
But you never know. That's the beautiful thing about Mahjong with TakoYaku. We could be here forever, and which would be bad for me because my match is in 20 minutes. But you know, in principle, in theory, this could happen. Double pair weight for Biddy, although they don't have Yaku, so that Sniv could very well drop the 4 and without fear.
I'm enjoying Sniv's double Dora red 5 and the normal Dora normal 5.
Normal 5. You know,
Biddy Tenpai is not
yeah, no
making me
Yaku.
so happy, but what can you do?
I mean, you know, it at least shields them from no-tech. Although it does mean that they're likely to play less defensively, which increases their odds of dealing in. They won't be happy to see that they discarded the 2 white dragons there.
Sniv happily taking another Dora on in that hand. That's an extra 4 Han if they can manage to shape this hand into something which is functional. Currently not happening so much.
No, they've got 3 pairs effectively. You know, with the 4, 5, 6, and then that leaves a pair of 5s. Oh, well, that changes things a little bit. But they, you know, the pair of 9s, the pair of 2s, and they did it did change things a little bit. But now they have a pair of 6s.
Yeah.
They could go all triplets. They do have. They would need 1 more pair on top of that.
I'm not sure what would be best. I think if I were Sniv, I would ditch those 2 9s just so you have freedom to call.
Yeah. You know, like it. This is another sort of trap that I fell into as a new player. Oh, as a new player, where I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just have to sit on this like terrible weight. Because what is this random 5 doing for me? Like, what is this random 5 that I just drew doing for me? Time to throw it in the garbage. But the thing is, you know, turning down that opportunity for all triples, that 9 doesn't do a lot for them. I can. Yeah, okay. The drop it ditching the 4 is all right. Yeah, it's an all right move, but
Biddy changing that weight pattern just to get that annoying 310 banner off the screen. I understand completely.
Exactly.
Discarding a Dora for Sniv, a good move, even though it must hurt a little bit.
Agent Moon, yeah, they've got Yaku, and they're waiting on a pair. But Aiyanna is holding on to every other copy of the tile out there, so...
Yeah, that's it's a really tough situation for Moon, and what they need to do is, again, change that weight pattern. If I were Sniv, I don't know if I would have picked up that 4 because they discarded 1 already, and it would be a very tough situation if they were to get stuck with that as a weight. But what can you do?
What can you do? What is it that you can do?
This is a very difficult hand to be stuck with, and they haven't been drawing things which factually improve it. So,
you know though, like we're kind of running out. We're kind of running down the clock. 16 tiles left in the wall. Even if they don't have Yaku, and end up in Tenpai, that would extend our streak to 9. It
would extend our beautiful Honba streak, and that is what I want.
And I guess more importantly for Sniv, give them another chance to just blow everyone else out a little bit more. Um,
No, absolutely.
I,
However, Sniv,
I
I think I might have called that and just given up on the opportunity of getting this hand to a Yaku state, while preferring to get this hand in Tenpai, but I think either way, it's still going to be a difficult road to walk. It is.
yeah,
I
just
can't
five
stop thinking
five
about
more
how
tiles
tough it is
left.
that Moon has a Yaku for the first time in forever,
Oh
and just
no.
cannot get any 8. So
Yeah, one thing that you can do when you're in that kind of when you're in that state of waiting for of waiting for a pair is you can try and change up your weight if you get the vibe that it's not going to happen. Like if you're just waiting for a long time, you might as well change. It's not as though like people are more likely to discard different types of tiles slightly, but that kind of evens out by the end of the game, towards the end of the game.
it's Biddy's last chance for redemption, by the way, as we enter South 4. But I would like to point out, because that was an exhaustive draw, we did change the dealer, but we still have 9 Honda.
Amazing, incredible. I am
It's
speechless. This is art. Games are art, and you're looking
Games
at
are
it.
art, and that's why I'm taking a screenshot of 0 Ricci 9 Honba friendly match 4 players South Dora indicator 5 peen just to frame on my wall.
Exactly. Get some famous painter to make a painting of it. Like I don't know. Do you know any famous painters? Any famous painters?
I can do a really good joke that my mom will appreciate. I don't know if she's watching, but I think that she would like it if I went, Edward Hopper, Toulouse-Lautrec. Is this funny?
I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word on that one. I imagine it's very funny to. I imagine that it's very funny to to a set of people.
Joke.
I think that's beautiful, and you should never change.
I would like to point out we've been in South 3 for so long that when I looked across the table to see who had just discarded and gone into Tenpai, I naturally assumed it was Moon because we haven't changed.
I forgot to change the dealer.
So long. But no, it's Aiyanna.
Look at that, Biddy in. Are they in Tenpai yet? No, I don't think so. But they're holding on to deal-in tiles.
Tenpai with a beautiful Pinfu though, and potential for a 3 sequences, 3 of the same sequence.
Triple sequence.
Which would be
nice. That would be a meaty hand. That would be a very valuable hand. Sniv could deal in here. They could deal in.
Sniv could deal in here.
Aiyanna has Dora. They have that. They have a potential for a mixed triple sequence. It wouldn't be in Ricci, but
it would be.
That would be a
good hand.
It would be a lot of damage. Who knows whether I'm not sure that it would be enough to bring them into first place. Oh, well, that's the. And while we were talking, we didn't even notice.
And and that brings Moon into second, which does end Sniv Torture Hour.
Sniv Torture Hour. Look, oh man.
With only 10 minutes remaining until our next TakoYaku match, we have successfully gotten you all to a point where you can binge TakoYaku.
We did it,
Let me
folks.
just add a quick update to the standing while I stare at this beautiful, beautiful.
let's have a look at the standings as they stood last round, folks. Once again, you can see that Biddy and Sniv, both on the bubble, and Moon had to get a good result to stay in this turn, to stay in contention for the postseason. And
are you ready to see these standings shift?
I'm so ready. I'm so ready.
That's right. None of them have entered the danger zone. Biddy narrowly avoiding the danger zone by 1 place at the end of this, while our very own Sniv climbs back up to an 8th place from previously 11th. Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. Yeah.
Plummeting down to 15th. But other than that, standings remain largely unchanged.
A precarious position
it is up
for
to MRM in just 9. It'll actually be 15 for the stream purposes. It'll be up to MRM to get Biddy down into that danger zone. If you can increase your UMA by at least 10, then you escape and seal someone else down there with you. So, I wish you the best of luck.
That's a really ominous way to put it.
Yeah, like the Cask of Amontillado.
Oh God. Well, I won't be hosting that match. Because I'll be in it. But it was a pleasure to be here with you wonderful folks.
You can watch the shift change on the stream layout as we speak.
All right. Thank you so much for turning out, everybody. We're probably gonna break for like a few minutes, and then we're gonna be back.
I mean, we're not in charge.
I'm hungry. I haven't eaten dinner.
I mean, you should go eat dinner.
I should, but not a lot of time for that, to be honest. So how well can MRM do at Mahjong when they're hungry? We'll see.
MRM go eats.
Okay.
Drink says eat.
Okay. Have a good one, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching Sniv Torture Time episode of TakoYaku. And
we will see
you here in just a little bit.
We will see you for the final match of week 2, where people's fate will be decided. It all hinges on this. Stay tuned.
It all hinges on MRM. See you later.